My niece pressed her sticky hand against my cheek and whispered, "Mommy's in a bikini." I laughed at first, thinking she meant a cartoon, something harmless playing in the background. Then she added, "On the beach. With the airplane." My stomach dropped so fast I felt it in my knees. I grabbed my phone and opened my sister's location. Cabo San Lucas. Not the grocery store. Not the dry cleaners. Mexico. I stood there in her kitchen, surrounded by unwashed bottles and a diaper bag. She didn't even bother packing right. Her 2 kids were still in pajamas. It was past noon. I called her. She picked up on the second ring, music loud behind her, laughter spilling through the line like she'd forgotten what responsibility sounded like. "Hey, everything good?" she asked, casual. "You left the country," I said. A pause. Then a sigh. I needed a break. Just be a good aunt for once. Something inside me went cold. "Do you understand what you just did?" I asked. She chuckled. Actually chuckled. "Relax. I'll be back in a few days." I looked at her children, waiting for lunch that wasn't coming. "You'll need a good lawyer," I said quietly. And I meant it. I didn't hang up right away. I wanted to hear if she'd say anything that sounded like regret. She didn't. Just music, laughter, and the clink of glass. "I left enough cash in the drawer," she said, like that covered abandoning 2 kids. "They need more than money," I replied. She exhaled sharply. "You're always so dramatic." The line went dead. I stood there holding the phone, staring at her fridge. No schedule. No instructions. No emergency contacts. Just a magnet with a beach sunset on it. Of course. My niece tugged my sleeve. "Can we eat now?" I nodded and moved on instinct. Eggs, toast, something warm. My hands worked while my head spun. This wasn't just irresponsible. It was calculated. She'd waited until I said yes to watching them for a few hours. She never mentioned flights. After lunch, I checked her room. Closet half empty. Suitcase gone. Passport missing. This wasn't a mistake. I opened my laptop and started documenting everything, timestamps, photos, messages. I wasn't guessing anymore. I was building a record. My nephew fell asleep on the couch, clutching a toy car. My niece curled beside him, trusting me without question. That trust settled heavy in my chest. Because I already knew this wasn't ending quietly. I didn't wait for her to come back. I called the pediatrician listed on an old prescription bottle I found in the cabinet. They confirmed what I already suspected. My sister hadn't updated anything in over a year. No emergency contact. No backup guardian. Nothing. I wrote that down too. Then I called her ex-husband. He didn't pick up. Straight to voicemail. I left a message that was calm, controlled, and very clear. "Your kids have been left without supervision. I'm handling it for now. Call me back." He didn't. By evening, my phone lit up with a text from my sister. "Why are you blowing this out of proportion?" I stared at the screen, then sent her a single photo. Her kids, asleep, still wearing the same clothes from morning. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No reply. I didn't push. I didn't argue. Instead, I kept documenting. Meals. Bedtime. Messages. Every missed call. Every ignored responsibility. Around midnight, my nephew woke up crying. He asked for his mom. I held him until he fell asleep again, his small hand gripping mine like he thought I might disappear too. That was the moment everything shifted. This wasn't about proving a point anymore. This was about making sure she never got to do this again. Morning came heavy. I dressed them in clean clothes I found buried in a laundry basket and packed a small bag, just in case. My sister still hadn't called. I drove to the courthouse downtown. Not dramatic. Just necessary. Temporary guardianship forms weren't hard to find. The clerk looked at me like she'd seen this story before. "You have proof?" she asked. I slid my phone across the counter. Timestamps, messages, her location in Cabo. She nodded slowly. "File this. And don't wait." Back in the car, my sister finally called. "You went to a courthouse?" she snapped. "You left your children," I replied. "I trusted you." "No. You used me." Silence, then anger. "You're trying to take my kids?" I watched my niece in the rearview mirror, humming softly, unaware of the war her mother started. "I'm protecting them," I said. She laughed, but it cracked. "You think a judge cares about a 2-day trip? I think a judge cares about abandonment." The line went quiet. No music this time. No laughter. Just breathing. "Cancel whatever you're doing," she said, voice tight. I ended the call before she could finish, because the papers were already filed. And something told me she was about to realize this wasn't a threat anymore. By afternoon, everything felt sharper. Every sound, every movement carried weight. I wasn't reacting anymore. I was planning. Her ex finally called back. "I just heard," he said, voice tight. "Is this real?" "Yes," I replied. "She's in Cabo. No notice. No plan." Silence stretched between us. Then, "I'm coming." Good. I needed someone else on record. Someone who couldn't be dismissed as the dramatic sister. When he arrived, he didn't ask questions. He looked at the kids first, checked their faces, their clothes, their routine. I saw it hit him, the same realization I had. This wasn't a bad day. This was a pattern. "I've seen this before," he muttered. "Late nights, excuses, but never this." I handed him printed screenshots. Messages. Location history. Everything. He flipped through them slowly. "You're building a case." I already did. That's when my phone rang again. My sister. I answered on speaker. "What did you file?" she demanded. No greeting this time. "Temporary guardianship," I said. "You're insane." "No," I replied calmly. "I'm done covering for you." Her voice cracked, just slightly. Not guilt, fear. "You don't understand what you've started." I looked at her children playing on the floor. "I understand exactly." And this time I wasn't stepping back. By evening, the call I'd been waiting for finally came. A caseworker. She introduced herself calmly, asked a few standard questions, then requested to visit in person. I agreed immediately. When she arrived, she didn't rush. She observed. The kids. The kitchen. The way my nephew clung to my leg when a stranger walked in. "Has this happened before?" she asked quietly. I hesitated, then nodded. "Not like this, but close." She wrote that down. I showed her everything, texts, missed calls, the time-stamped photos. She didn't react much, but I could tell she was building something in her head. "Where is their mother now?" she asked. "Cabo," I said. "Still there." That made her pause. She stepped aside and made a call. Low voice. Professional tone. When she came back, her expression had changed. "We're opening an official investigation," she said. The words landed heavier than anything before. Not a warning. Not a scare tactic. An investigation. My sister called again, right then, like she could feel it. I answered. "What did you do?" she demanded. I told the truth. Her breathing hitched. Then anger rushed in. "You're ruining my life." I looked at her children. Safe for now. "No," I said quietly. "You did that the second you boarded that plane." The next morning, my sister was back in the country. I knew before she told me. Her location lit up just after sunrise, airport, then a straight line toward home. No detours. No delays. She burst through the door, without knocking. Hair pulled tight, sunglasses still on, like she thought she could walk in and reset everything. "Give me my kids," she said. No hug. No apology. Just that. My niece ran toward her, instinct stronger than memory. My nephew stayed behind me, gripping my hand. The caseworker was already there. My sister froze when she saw her. "What is this?" she snapped. "An active investigation," the caseworker replied calmly. My sister laughed, but it sounded forced. "For what?" "I took a trip." "You left 2 minors without proper care or consent," the caseworker said. "I left them with family." I stepped forward. "For few hours. Not a flight out of the country." Her eyes locked onto mine. Sharp. Furious. Searching for a way out. "You planned this," she said. "No," I answered. "You did." The caseworker opened her folder. Documents, notes, timelines. "Based on the evidence," she said, "we're recommending temporary removal of custody." My sister's face drained of color. For the first time, She looked scared. Not of me. Of consequences she couldn't charm her way out of. She didn't scream right away. For a moment, she just stood there, staring at the caseworker like the words hadn't landed yet. Like reality was something she could still talk her way around. Temporary, she repeated slowly. That means I get them back. The caseworker didn't soften. That depends on your compliance and the court's decision. That's when it broke. You did this, she snapped at me, voice shaking now. You turned them against me. I shook my head. You left them. Her ex stepped forward then, calm, but firm. This isn't about her. It's about what you chose. My sister looked at the kids. Really looked this time. My nephew didn't move. My niece clung to my side, confused. That hurt her more than anything else. I just needed a break, she whispered. I believed her. But breaks don't look like passports and silence. They look like asking for help. The caseworker gently guided the conversation toward next steps, court dates, evaluations, conditions. My sister sat down, quiet now, like the fight had drained out of her. I didn't feel victorious, just steady. Because for once, the kids weren't the ones adjusting to her chaos. She was adjusting to the consequences. And this time, they wouldn't disappear.